Welcome to my video on orthographic mapping, promoting learning to read proficiently based on research. This presentation is based on Chapter 4 of Dr. David Kilpatrick's book, Equipped for Reading Success, a comprehensive, step-by-step program for developing phonemic awareness and fluent word recognition. In this chapter, Dr. Kilpatrick synthesizes just some of the vast compilations of reading research to demonstrate how our brains learn to read. While Dr. Kilpatrick discusses orthographic mapping at length in Chapter 4, this concept was developed by Dr. Linnea Airey. Dr. Kilpatrick also gives credit to many professionals, including speech-language pathologists, school psychologists, teachers, tutors, parents, and undergraduate students. Dr. Kilpatrick has not endorsed this video. This is my interpretation of the material he presents in Chapter 4. I encourage you to get his book to read and process the information for yourself. Part 1. How we store printed words to permanent memory for fluent reading. Or rather, how we do not store printed words to permanent memory for fluent reading. When learning to read, we first sound out unfamiliar words using phonics.
Cat.
Eventually, after sounding out a word enough times, we see the word and know it instantly without sounding it out.
Cat.
When we see a word and know it instantly, it is a sight word. How does that happen? How do we store words to permanent long-term memory so we no longer need to sound them out? A better question might be, how do we not store words to long-term memory? In education, the terms sight word has several meanings. Reading researchers refer to just one meaning.
Sight words are immediately recognized printed words read effortlessly without having to sound them out or guess. It has nothing to do with a word being spelled phonetically regular or irregular.
Sight word vocabulary includes all of the printed words a student knows instantly and automatically.
The fast car.
The key to building permanent memory with immediately recognizable words, the sight word vocabulary, is not a large, strong visual memory. You heard me right. It may seem counterintuitive, but words are not stored as visual memories. For a very long time, it was thought we store a visual image for every word we learn. It was mistakenly thought familiar words were recognized and stored just like objects or faces. It was believed that the visual memory system holds all of the printed words we know. How do we know words are not stored as images in visual memory?
The research shows several factors that indicate visual memory is not involved. These factors include the following. Experiments with mixed case lettering show it is not a visual task. Additionally, we read words every day with different fonts, print or cursive handwriting, and this further indicates we do not store a visual image of a word.
Most children in first grade will be exposed to and learn to recognize the word bear because it's a popular character in children's stories. After enough exposures, the child may now remember the word bear for instant access and retrieval. It is in his or her sight vocabulary. Later on, in second or third grade, a child may see bear in all uppercase letters.
Around the corner, there was a huge bear.
When a child sees the word in all uppercase letters, it will be instantly familiar. This demonstrates he or she cannot be relying on visual memory for that instant recognition. Look at each of the letters in that word. None of the lowercase letters look like their uppercase counterparts. Therefore, it would be impossible that he or she is recalling an image of the word bear from visual memory because the student never saw that visual representation before.
Many years ago, it was discovered that visual word recognition is faster than object recognition. This indicates word and object recognition involve different storage and retrieval processes. Struggling readers do not have poor visual memory. Studies show they perform just as well as non-struggling readers on visual memory tasks that do not involve words. Brain scans show that the part of the brain activated while doing a visual memory task, like naming objects, is different than the parts of the brain activated while doing a task that involves naming familiar and unfamiliar printed words. These reading tasks include sounding out words, phonics, left temporal lobe, instant word recognition, left fusiform gyrus, face recognition, right fusiform gyrus, object recognition, right parietal and occipital lobes.
Wait a minute. If you are like me and have no idea where those parts of the brain are, look them up in an anatomy book. Otherwise, you can just understand that these are several areas of the brain, not one location of visual memory. Carry on, Ms. Reading Researcher.
Thank you, Miss Jane. In addition to brain scans, data shows the deaf population graduates high school with, on average, a third-grade reading level. If visual memory is the primary process for reading success, the deaf population would reach higher reading levels. From time to time, we all forget the names of common objects or familiar people. It's on the tip of our tongue. We do not forget a printed word we know that is part of our sight word vocabulary. Lastly, scientists who study visual memory, unrelated to reading, have shown we do not have the cognitive capacity to remember 30 to 90,000 words for immediate retrieval.
Unfortunately, reading instruction still assumes this false idea of storing printed words as visual images.
We falsely assume if a student sees a word enough, they will remember it. Students who struggle to remember words they see repeatedly are labeled with poor visual memory. Research shows this is not true. These students do not have weak visual memory. Research shows there is a very small relationship between visual memory and sight vocabulary development. Studies show a strong relationship between auditory skills and sight word vocabulary development. So struggling readers do not have weak visual memories, but often lack proficient phonological skills. Phonological skills are auditory. Remember, for such a long time we wrongly assumed that memory for words is a visual task and taught according to this false idea. While 15 to 20% are dyslexic, at the time of this publication, around twice as many 4th and 8th graders do not read proficiently. It's no wonder we have failed to teach all students to read proficiently. It's not just a dyslexia issue.
If reading instruction continues to assume visual memory plays such a significant role in proficiency, high levels of widespread reading failure will continue.
Research should inform instruction. Phonological awareness, more specifically, phonemic awareness, is key to building sight word vocabulary. Phonological awareness is the study of speech sounds and patterns. Students must understand that sentences are made up of individual words, words are made up of syllables, they must be able to discern rhyme, and be able to isolate initial sounds and identify alliteration. Phonemic awareness is a deeper level of phonology. When a student has proficient phonemic awareness skills, he or she has the ability to detect individual sounds, phonemes, within words and syllables, and the ability to manipulate sounds in the mind just by listening without writing anything down. These skills, linked directly to reading proficiency, are not visual tasks, further discrediting the belief we store words as visual images. Before you get upset and disagree with what I'm presenting, please understand that while research has shown visual memory alone does not play a role in reading proficiency, actually, I think I'll let our researcher explain it to you.
While visual memory alone does not play a primary role in reading proficiency, Visual, perceptual, spatial processing does play a role. It is essential for letter sound learning. Alphabet recognition is based on visual phonological memory function, and it helps readers to distinguish letters like B, D, P, and Q. Visual spatial memory plays a role in reading comprehension. If a student can create a good visual spatial image of what they are reading, then comprehension is better. However, there is no evidence that visual memory plays a direct role in word recognition or reading fluency once the letters have been learned.